So on November 11th, there was a big headline in which the presidents of the United States and China came out with a joint statement about climate change. This is a very significant statement for many reasons. For the last roughly about 20 years, the international climate negotiations has more or less been stuck in the same quagmire in which I would describe it as a kind of you go first strategy in which the countries of the world, primarily the developed and the developing countries, were split into two camps, and they kind of constantly cast blame on each other and who was responsible and who was kind of more obliged to deal with climate change. What's different here is that you have the world's two largest emitters, a major developing country and a major developed country, standing together essentially on the same podium saying we're going to act together with real numbers on the table that is actually, for both countries, unprecedented. So there will be many critics that have said that, well, this is not such a big deal, in particular because maybe these two sets of numbers produced by China and the US would not avoid the most dangerous impacts of climate change. Some have argued that these targets themselves are not that different than what would otherwise have been business as usual for these two countries. And then others have argued that, well, these are just targets, they're not enforceable, we don't really know at this point how they'll be implemented. And all those critics are right, but in many ways they're missing the point. In international climate negotiations, actions can oftentimes be much more important than words. And it would be one thing if China and the US were to go off separately in Washington and Beijing and announce these targets. It's a completely another thing altogether when you're doing it together on the same stage. Again, this is unprecedented, and the hope here is that this breaks the deadlock that's been around for the last 20 years and allow for a new negotiating dynamic in the lead up and during the climate negotiations in Paris that's going to occur next winter, that's supposed to help finalize the next global climate deal.